Hey, what's going on, my friends? It's Dave Sharpe. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. And you already know what time it is. It's time to get down with another amazing guest. This is a returning guest, somebody who has been on the show and is actually quite an accomplished, experienced marketer. Started out here in our community and has really taken off and been doing this for a few years now, and is going to be talking to us today about um, his journey of learning, launching, taking breaks, relaunching, starting over, all the things. And so, with that being said, Andre, my man, welcome back to the show, brother.
What's up, Dave? How's it going? Good morning.
Hey, good morning, man. It's going fantastic. Welcome back to the show, brother. It's good to see you. I
Thank
think
you.
the last time I talked to you, I was on you and Brian Brewer's podcast. Is that
Yep, I
right?
believe that was like 2 years ago.
Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah.
Well, formally talk to you, like in a public setting, anyways. So, tell us, for those who don't know you and your story, tell us how you got started, what motivated you to get into internet marketing in the first place.
Yeah, so I started back in December of 2020. Most of you guys know my story, hopefully. I don't know. But I used to be a restaurant manager, worked in the food industry for so many years. And I soon realized that, that was not it for me. And when I say I soon realized, that was 8 years later when I was when I was working, in the industry. But yeah, COVID, the pandemic happened, and then I was just trying to find another way to supplement my income because I was not making enough. I was in debt, couldn't go on vacations. My wife was unfortunately she was sick at the moment, so I had to stay home. And I decided to go online and I searched for ways to make money online. The first thing I found was drop shipping. I quickly realized that that wasn't for me. And then I found Legendary Marketer. I scrolled on TikTok. I found you guys. I found somebody, a 17-year-old, making videos. And I was like, okay, let me see what this is about. I went all in. And, soon enough, I was able to quit my job. And when I say soon enough, that was 6 months later of
Mm.
me just trying to figure it out.
You started moving a little bit quicker, huh?
Yeah,
Than
exactly.
from 8 years to 6 months. Well, you were motivated though, man. I mean, uh, you've been a hard worker. I can't remember if you told me if you were born here or born in Peru, or it was your family that's from Peru. Which is it?
Yeah, I was born in Peru. So I came to the
You
States when I was 14.
Yeah. And Peru's a beautiful country, no doubt. I've been there, and I've seen what Peru is, and it's certainly, while it's beautiful in terms of the country itself and the people, it's not the United States of America.
Hmm.
It's not the United States of America, and I can tell you that firsthand just from hanging out in Limu is the capital's
Lima, Lima.
Lima, and also a few other cities. And yeah, it's not. And so I'm guessing here that you didn't grow up, with tons of money down in Peru, right?
No, look, man, we used to live. I'm from Lima, but I used to live in different states of Peru.
Mhm.
So we were in poor areas, man. We were in like really bad areas. My dad had a job that he would get transferred to different states in Peru. So I seen, it's a third world country, right? Lima is nice. It's a metropolitan city, but outside Lima, it's basically, you can see the difference, right? It's not the
Oh yeah.
same as the big city.
And even the big city, I can remember riding around in the big city and just thinking, wow, this is so much different than the United States of America.
Yeah.
And yeah, I saw some of the cities outside of Lima, and yeah, I mean, for them, for you, it's a way of life. It's. I don't even know if, I mean, people maybe know how poor they are compared to the United States of America, but maybe they don't. I don't know. I just know that I thought, damn, man, like we got it good in the United States. Like we
Yeah, they
good.
it's like a different type of richness, I guess you can call it.
Yeah.
Um, people, people are super friendly. The food's amazing as well,
Yeah.
and they're just happy. It's a different lifestyle completely. You get me? It's not like go go go. Like over here, it's like go go go.
Right.
Especially moving from Peru to to California, because that's where I first went. Wow, it was a complete switch, especially not knowing the language as well. So I had to learn that. I had to make new friends. It took me like 4 years to make friends. So
Mm.
my whole from 14 to 18 in high school, it was so difficult for me to, speak to somebody about my feelings or try to communicate and try to relate to them. You get me? It was such a cultural shock for me, definitely.
So, you're somewhat, you get used to change. You get used to starting something new. You came from Peru. You then, I think, moved to Texas.
Mhm.
How old were you when you moved to Texas?
To Texas, I moved when I was 29 with my
Okay.
family, my wife and my daughter.
Okay. That's when you started your restaurant manager or your restaurant job.
No, I had already
You
I've been
had
working in the
already.
restaurant business since I was like 16. But the
Okay.
moment where I became a manager, that was when I was 24, I believe, right before
Okay.
my daughter was born.
So, you're working your way up in the restaurant business, you're moving multiple times. And so when you find us and you decide that you want to try internet marketing, um, what was that learning curve like for you? And what were some of the limiting beliefs that you had come up in your own head about whether you could do this or not?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I didn't want to be on camera at first, right? That was my first big scare. I was like, okay, I don't know if I want to do this. But at that moment, I was in the, I guess, desperation mode. I was like, I need to make something work, right? So I wasn't, I didn't have that many limiting beliefs just because I was just fully motivated and focused in the beginning with Legendary. Thankfully, I found Legendary first. You know what I mean? I can say that right now because if I found other products or other mentors, I probably not be here right now doing this interview, right? So in the beginning, I was motivated to just do something else. And, I would still go to my job after learning the skills that you were teaching, funnels, email marketing, and everything else. But yeah, I didn't have any other choice, to be honest.
Yeah. So, you've now we're going to share your new Instagram. You're essentially starting back over after quite a few years of building up a brand and building up many social media profiles, and even entering into the Spanish market, and actually shutting down some of your or all of your English profiles about a year
Mhm.
ago. You said, and you just had too many impersonators and you wanted to kind of take a break and try to get some of those just because people were impersonating you and scamming people, which I respect. Just kind of a side note for everybody. How to that's really a problem.
It
We
is.
need to be careful when we're communicating or receiving messages from people about cryptocurrency or just sending money without actually talking to somebody. It's one of the reasons why we actually, and a lot of people, a lot, we've been criticized for this. And that's fine. I mean, the more successful you get, the more criticism you're going to get. But we, over the last 7 years, have given every single customer that's come through an opportunity to actually get on the phone or Zoom with us. And despite what people say, it has not been forced. People
Mhm.
did not have to. They could easily have asked us to open the challenge for them or even chosen that in some years when we gave that choice. But they could have easily submitted a support ticket and asked for just, I don't want to get on Zoom. I don't want to get on the phone. I want to just go through this on my own. But we've given every single customer who's come through the ability to get on the phone or Zoom with us, which has let that customer know that we're real and that we're not just some scammer hiding behind or impersonating, just saying send me money. And I have heard horror stories. So I respect you for, getting rid of your profiles, taking a break. You had so many impersonators, and now you're coming back. We've shared your Instagram profile here with everybody. If you want to kind of start following Andrei and his journey again here, you know, before we move on, what what advice do you have to people as well to avoid getting scammed by impersonators? And what even for somebody who doesn't even know what the hell we're talking about, just explain to people this side of the internet so they can hopefully be aware and know what to look out for.
Yeah, so when you start getting, results as well, not talk about money, I talk about like maybe followers. You start getting viral videos, you start getting results. Most people just tend to take advantage of, your virality, and then they create accounts. They look just like yours. They replicate all the videos. They upload them, and then they change, the username. Maybe one letter. It can be like a dot, or it can be like a two L's when it's supposed to be only one. And that's how those people are basically sending messages to your own followers, pretending to be yourself, and they're just scamming people with cryptocurrency, or investing in the stock market or whatever, right? Whatever they come up with. And unfortunately, a lot of people fall for it, right? Like you might think, no, nobody's gonna fall for this, but yeah, a lot of people do actually fall for it. I got messages from people, hey, I got scammed by this person pretending to be you, and unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about it, right? What I did was I put some warnings on my page. Hey, be careful with these profiles that they're messaging my followers. And then when I did take the break, I was like, okay, I'm done with this, because the accounts keep rolling, right? The videos keep living on and getting feed to new people. So I was like, okay, I'm done with this. I'm gonna start over. And yeah, I took a break for a year with my English side of the business, and I focused on my Spanish market.
Yeah. Well, I've even got as the number one post that I've pinned on my damn Instagram profile. It's the same exact thing, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm serious. Like you see, I'm David Sharpe _official, and that's my number one post right there. I never send DMs. Beware of scammers and impersonators. I mean, I've had that post up since July 31st of 2023. Just trying to warn people because there's nothing worse. There's nothing worse than the feeling of somebody messaging you and saying, you scammed me. And then you're like, how? And they're like, well, you asked me to send you money or whatever.
Hmm.
And it's like, no, well, that wasn't me. But they used your face. They used my face or your face, or even if they figure it out and they say, hey, somebody was impersonating you, and I sent them $5,000, $10,000. The other thing is we got to say to everybody listening, it's your responsibility to vet somebody and really do your homework.
Right.
That's the other thing that's important, is that you need to not be desperate. And that's what people are offering when they're sending these kind of messages. They're sending too good to be true opportunities. And if you're desperate or you're greedy, you may be vulnerable to want to try that.
Hmm.
And so don't be desperate and don't be greedy, and use common sense.
Yep.
Use common sense. Get on the phone with somebody. Get on Zoom with somebody. If most people will say, if you're feeling if you're feeling skeptical, most people will send you an audio message.
Exactly.
Most people will send you a video or an audio message, or like we do with anybody who wants to do it. And one of the reasons why we do that, again, like I said, is to let customers know we're real. You're talking to a real person here at Legendary Marketer. You can feel safe, secure. We don't ask for people's credit card information over the phone or over Zoom. They enter it in our site, and everything is as safe and secure as possible. helping people to feel like, their information and their transactions and everything is as safe as possible. So really, it's a great learning moment, teachable moment, and I'm glad that you you know I'm not glad you had the experience or anybody who was taken advantage of by people impersonating you, but it's great to be able to share and talk about it. And so, talk to us a little bit about what it was like. I remember you back, when you were getting started, and man, you were a workhorse. I mean, you really got to it. Talk to us a little bit about some of the things that you look back on and you say these were really important for me to do and focus on when I first got started to get launched.
Yeah. So in the beginning, you need to set aside some time, right? Even when you think you don't have enough time during the day, you do have time, right? I was making my videos, I was learning at 2 in the morning when I would get home from work, right? So when people have too many excuses, it's like, okay, no, you have to analyze what you're saying. You have to realize what you're doing. What are your priorities, right? You can say, I don't have time, but you're watching Netflix for 3 hours. That's not very useful for your timing. But yeah, I set aside a couple hours a day just to learn, and I was committed to it. Right. Even my wife was telling me, "Hey, you come home from work and you're still working on something else." But I was like, "Okay, well, I need to do something else." Right. Look where we are. Right. So after that, she started getting it, and she was my number one supporter from there. Right. She was always okay. It's time to make videos. Right. And then the consistency will help a lot, and then the work ethic, right? I never stopped working hard even when I stopped working for my restaurant manager job. You just gotta keep doing it and set clear goals for yourself. Not too big of a goal, right? Start small first, and a goal could be making your funnel, making your campaign, your email campaign. That could be small goals in the beginning, because I was so happy when I made it work in the beginning, because I didn't know how to link this software to this software. I didn't even have could afford ClickFunnels in the beginning. So I was looking at free software. I think it was called Groove Funnels, and it was just a pain in my ass just to try to get it going. And every day I needed to see that everything was working. Every single day I needed to opt into my own funnel. Isn't that crazy? Do
Yeah.
people do that still? I don't know.
Well, I think it's probably smart, to just, I can remember, doing the same thing, just, not getting any results at the beginning and opting in just to see if everything's working. You know what I mean? Damn,
Yeah.
is this? It's kind of like, anybody is this thing working correctly? So what what wh- when you started gaining traction, how did you start to capitalize on that and keep up with that? So many people, when they start to build an audience and they start maybe having videos taking off, either going viral or getting more views, they start getting more messages, they can even get overwhelmed by their own success. Um how did you keep up with that? How did you start, how did you not get overwhelmed by your own success, by DMs that were coming in? Like, take us back and help us to understand a scenario or two of, I hear that a lot, people saying, well, I'm getting so many messages. Now I'm overwhelmed by that, and it's like, well, sorry, I mean, that's called movement, that's called success, that's called results. How did you create different systems or uh, new ways to find leverage in your business to continue to scale um, when those results did start coming in?
Yeah, it's funny because when somebody just starts, they want to blow up, they want to go viral. And as soon as they do, they're like, oh, what the heck did I do? Well, how do I fix it? Right. So, so that happens a lot, it's like they come in on calls. So for example, a coaching call, and they're like, "Yeah, I want to do this. I want my video to explode." And then I tell them, "Are you sure? Are you sure you want that? Because it's gonna be more and things that you have to worry about after that." So
Yeah.
what I did when I started blowing up, first of all, I was not ready. I didn't know how to talk to people or how to close a sale through DMs. You get me? How to talk about the opportunity. So I made a lot of mistakes just messaging people. And I myself did it, right? Until I found something that worked for me. And that was like a script, right? I found a script that worked for me and I could tweak it here and there. But in the beginning, it was mostly just copy and paste. I was just doing copy and paste from my script. I never really strayed away from it, and I was just doing it every single time. And then guess what? I had not just one platform that blew up. I had TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. They were all blowing up at the same time.
Yeah.
So then all those messages, I would spend at least 4 hours a day messaging people in different platforms, right? So you have to do it, and then later on there are other platforms to automate it, like ManyChat, which I still don't really use it. I don't really use ManyChat just because people want to talk to somebody. They don't want an automated response, and if they do, maybe they take action, maybe they don't, maybe they buy, maybe they don't. But I'd rather have that connection first of actually talking and helping people in order for me to accomplish my goals.
Now that when you said you had developed a script, what were you specifically talking? Are you talking about? Are you talking about for when people messaged you, or when you were messaging people, or via email? Help us understand where you were using that at.
Yeah, so the script basically was, my goal was to send people to my DMs. So if I post a story, my call to action is send me a message. If I post a video, my call to action was comment on the video. That way I get that interaction first. And then from there, I reply to their comment going to their my messages. So that way I'm sending people to different areas of my profile, my story, my video, my comments, and then my DMs. Once they get to my DMs, then that's when I start talking to them like a regular person, and I start educating them with the business, right? If they commented on my videos, it's because they're interested in what I'm doing. So then I told them about what I was doing, what it was, what the business model was. And then from there, I give them the steps to get started.
Yeah. So that's where you had developed a script to be able to do that.
Yep. It will
Yeah.
everything through like messaging.
And you were manually doing that at first,
Yep.
or
I was,
continued to manually do that?
yeah, I'm still manually doing it. Like I
Mm.
say, I'm not a fan of bots or, AI or automated responses. I was never a fan of it. And I did try it for a while. And I was like, okay, this is not really working out. I'm not getting the same traction, the same results as if I was actually messaging somebody.
Yeah. So help us have an idea of what sort of a good script would look like if you were to share a template,
Yeah.
hey, here's kind of a script that you could use in any niche, right? Because if you're having people reach out to you in the DMs, the idea of a back and forth conversation, the idea of learning about somebody, of getting to, seeing what they want, what they're interested in, and then introducing them to the next step, right? Because you're not particularly likely going to sell them right there in Messenger, but it's about moving them from one step to the next step, right?
Yeah.
And so what's a good um, general script, or what uh, could somebody take from this and develop their own script, or use some ideas from a script that you might use or have developed for yourself in the DMs to keep the conversation going?
Yeah, it's almost like a closing script, right? You start with regular "Hi, how are you," and then you add a little bit of empathy, right? So you want to ask them a couple questions to see where they are in their life. Like I said, depending on their niche, right? If they're trying to lose weight, you can talk about okay, well, what happened? How did you get to this point? And then, so you show empathy, you show them that you're actually there to help them. And then from
Mm.
there, you start educating them. So it's not even a script that is so long. It's literally 5 messages that I send religiously, right? It's just the same message that I sent. And then from there, I start educating them. First of all, I ask them if they have any idea what the business model is or how to lose weight, for example, right? And then they will tell me their way of, okay, this is what I know. And then from there, either I agree with them because maybe they do have the right answer, or I don't. And I just tell them, well, another way of thinking about it,
Yeah.
right? And then from there, I told them, I have this thing that will help them understand more. And then after that, you go to the closing side of it where you give them the price, you tell them what they're gonna expect. And at the end, the last message that I send is, here's the link. You have any questions, feel free to reply to this message, and then we can go from there as well.
Wow. That's I love the beginning parts are so important. And I think where and when I if I understand correctly, the 4 or 5 messages are just it ends up being you saying something to them or asking them a question, them replying back, you sending number 2, them replying back, you sending number 3, them replying back, you sending number 4, reply back, number 5, right?
Yep. And the key thing that I used to do was I used to take a break. So I would reply to people just probably once a day or twice a day. That's it. Because I was still actively promoting or posting videos, 3 videos a day. So now what I did is because first of all I had so many messages, so it's impossible to reply to everybody at once. So I took breaks and then I made them consume my content. So then by the time I finish with my script, they're like already waiting. Like, okay, probably their car was on their hand already because they kept seeing me. They kept seeing me in my stories, in my content. And then from there, as soon as I'm done with my script, they become buyers right after that.
And when you and do you make them consume your content by telling them to go consume your content, or just by kind of taking a like waiting to reply to them so they see more of your videos?
Exactly.
Either
So
either in their timeline, or maybe they'll just go to your page and watch a bunch on their own.
exactly. Exactly. So let's say you reply to somebody and then they reply back, but you don't reply to them, and then you post a video. They're already on your account. They're like, okay, well, he's posting more videos. So now I'm just
Yeah,
waiting, eagerly waiting for him to reply to me, right? And when I do,
yeah,
it's another spark in them. And they're like, oh,
yeah.
he replied to me.
Well, and especially the way that, for example, Instagram's algorithm works, and pretty much every other Facebook, every other algorithm. If you are direct messaging somebody, that person's content will show up number one on the top of your feed. On Instagram or Facebook, the stories will be all the way over on the left. Whoever you're messaging with, that their stories will now show up first. Their videos will show up first because the because Instagram wants to show you content from people that you want to see it from, that you're interested, that you're talking to. And so I want to go back to the first and second message that you were talking about sending. I think that's the key.
Hmm.
Where I think a lot of people go wrong in DMs and in closing people, or getting them interested in buying whatever it is that they're selling, they just go right to trying to pitch in that first message, and they just send a big old blob of text with no empathy, with no interest in, like you said, how did you get to this point? How
Right.
did you get to a point to where you're looking to make, looking to start a business online? Or how did you get to the point to where you're looking to lose weight and feeling overweight, or feeling not happy with your body, or unhealthy? How did you get to a point to where your dog doesn't listen to you, or is not, he's become unmanageable? How did you get to a point? How did this happen? How did it get this far? Um, and then you get and you let them know that it's a judgment free zone. Whatever it is, thank you for sharing it with me. it's a vulnerable thing. I've been there too.
Hmm.
You know, that I was XYZ struggling with XYZ when I first got started. So I like to understand your what brought you here in the first place, so I can make help you, or if I can't, I'll try to point you in the right direction. That's been one of my favorite things to say in the last 13 years is that share this information with me, tell me what brought you here, and then I'll see if I can help it. If I can't, I'll do my best to point you in the right direction of someone or something that can. And now what you're trying to do when you're collecting information is lower their buyer defenses, lower their skepticism and their kind of, because most people want help, but they're also afraid. They don't want to be sold, right? They don't
Exactly.
want to be pitched. They don't want to be pressured. And so I think those first couple of interactions that you mentioned are super key, right?
Yeah. Without them, I probably wouldn't have, gotten the success that I have right now.
Yeah, and man, that's the biggest thing is just entering and introducing some empathy, being a real human being, letting people know that you actually care about what's best for them. You're not just going to throw a cookie cutter solution to them. That makes people feel like they're a human being and not just a number. And that's a number is what they felt like their whole life at every job and everything else. So if they're trying to start something more personalized for themselves and they're coming to you for help or information, they don't want to feel like a number. They want to feel some sort of personalized solution. And those questions that you give or that you ask, and that's work too, right, Andre? I want to point that out. That's an investment into that customer or that potential customer to go back and forth 5 times as well, right?
Yeah, it takes a lot out of your day, but you have to do it. You have to do it in order for you, especially in the beginning, right? You get one message, and then try to figure out how you can convert that person, right? And like I said, it took me a while to learn how to talk to somebody. I went viral pretty quick, and then I was like more lost than before. I didn't know how to talk to them, and then little by little I started implementing what I learned. I saw what worked, what didn't work, but I was implementing. If this doesn't work, okay, the next day I'm gonna try something new, and then so on and so on until you find something that clicks, and then from there you don't really have to tweak it anymore. If it's working, don't try to fix it.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
So, you through the legendary community also met a friend, Brian. You guys started a podcast. I was a guest on that podcast. Um, you talk to us about, you know, expanding your reach and your authority through partnerships, through, um, you know, JVs, joint ventures, co-hosting podcast, um, you know, uh, just some of the various, being seen and connected with other successful marketers or even just other marketers, what that can do for you. So many people in our community over the years have found somebody in the community and they begin to do joint ventures, and there can be lots of different kind of joint ventures. Again, you can co-host a podcast together, you can start a coaching program together, you
Mhm.
can just be friends. And just for me, I've been seen on our podcast here with 1,000 guests,
Mhm.
um, many successful people, maybe many new people. Just that association with other people and other marketers can bring more legitimacy, can bring more authority, can just up level your brand and your kind of respect in the industry. And it can do lots of different things for you. What has partnering, joint venturing, what has it done for your business, and how have some of these things that you've done come to actually happen?
Yeah, so being an entrepreneur, it's a lonely road, right? Like it's so lonely. You're by yourself. Nobody really gets what you're talking about. Even if you have friends, trying to explain to them is difficult. Because they probably won't get it, right? But then after, I met Brian, thanks to your community, and then we became speakers at your mastermind back in 2021. And then we started talking after that, and we clicked just because we were both from the same food industry as well, right? He also worked in the restaurant business. And then from there, we built a friendship, and ended up, I pitched him one day. I was like, hey, have you ever thought about starting a podcast? And we went for it, right? Now it's been more than 2 years since we have it. um we've been doing the podcast. But just the networking is something that you have to really think about, especially in this business. And also, the reason why we did it was also not to self-sabotage ourselves. Like I say, as when you're just by yourself, it's so easy to stray away from what you're trying to build, right? But with this, we meet up once a week. We have a conversation, just how we are having a conversation right now, about our marketing, the evolution of our business, right? And then the evolution of what's happening in the online world, the affiliate marketing world, of digital marketing world. And like I said, we meet once a week, we have a conversation, and it like gets us ready for the week. It gets us excited just to
Yeah.
talk like with another marketer, right? And I'm sure you get a hit out of it, right? In the masterminds, you're talking to all these marketers, and you're like, whoa, this is great.
But also on the show every morning.
Exactly.
I
Every
mean,
morning.
think about that, man. I've been doing this show. I totally get it because I've been doing this show now for roughly 1,000 episodes,
Yeah.
5 days a week, every morning at 10 a.m. Eastern time. I've talked to another marketer. And so
Mhm.
people think that, yeah, your business is going to go up and it's going to go down. We've had some championship seasons here at Legendary. This year has been an interesting year. We're doing some rebuilding, some restructuring, but people think that people have no idea what we are or I am made of, and all of the different things that I have in place in order to keep, like you said, on the right track and motivated. And they have no idea. And this is one of those things. It's like staying connected to other marketers, having conversations about what's working, what's not, what do we need to change, what do we need to evolve. Legendary is constantly changing things in the background, in evolving things, and um while trying to keep things the same. And like, you're right, it's an evolution of the of growth. Your business is going, you're gonna face new challenges. And so you need to sometimes just talking it out, right? Like
Yeah.
talking it out loud and having a sounding board, somebody to listen to you. I don't usually need somebody to tell me, like, give me a solution, but like I always need a sounding board because I come up with solutions and ideas through talking things out. And a lot of times, as I'm talking it out, that's why I never shut up, is because as I'm talking, now that's both here on the show and in marketing, but it's also behind the scenes. I'm having conversations all day long with people here on our team, people, friends, former team members. I was just on the phone yesterday with a former CEO of one of my businesses that I owned prior to Legendary. And just talking things through, just thinking things through, thinking out loud, strategizing what's new, what's next, what needs to change. And you're right, it's also a lonely business, man. When you're at home, people think that, dude, I'm not in a big studio right here. Like, I'm sitting in my office at home, and there's nobody here. As soon as I hang up this call, it's silence, right? Unless my kids are screaming. They're not here right now. But it's silence, man. So I have to be responsible for creating the noise. I have to be responsible for creating and putting feedback, people, sounding boards in place. And you're right, man. It also helps you to like really stay on the forefront. Like, what's going on? Like, what are you seeing? What do we need? What do I need to change? What's hot right now? What's trending? There's all the different things that somebody else might see that you might not see, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, masterminds are great too, and they give me a great opportunity to be able to see and meet with people. And I would encourage people to come to an event. We've got a mastermind happening in New Orleans here next week, and the connections that have been made from some of these legendary marketer masterminds are just unbelievable in terms of people meeting each other, partnerships being formed, things of that nature. I mean, it's a 2,000 right now anyways, and we've been saying we were going to raise the price on this forever, but we haven't. Right now it's been a $2,000 upgrade from our
Hmm.
business blueprints to come to a one of the best hosted, most professional. I mean, people come, and I'm not trying to toot my horn. I'm tooting our whole team's horn. People come to our masterminds, and they keep getting better since the ones that you've been to, but even the ones that you were at. They people come and they say this is better than big corporate events that I've been to. That it's more organized. It's more intimate.
Yes.
It's more well organized. And we've only gotten better at it. We've only gotten better at it over the course of the years. I mean, now Legendary alone has just hosted dozens and dozens and dozens. I don't know if it's been hundreds, but it's dozens of events. And we just, it's two people look at it and they're like, should I come? Should I spend the money on this? And it's like, man, you can make money back, man. It's a $2,000 extra upgrade. Your damn food's covered. We feed you while you're there,
Yeah.
for God's sakes, and put you 20 feet away from some of the smartest marketers in the game who are just there to answer your questions. And it's just like, what that can do for you, the connections that you can make. And we're just so afraid sometimes to make that investment. And I mean, you're a wonderful testament of just what that has done for your business, of getting outside of your own little world and traveling to and meeting people. And it's life changing, isn't it, man? To get out and
Yeah.
actually meet other people who can freaking relate and are doing the same thing that you're doing.
Exactly. And then I love how you guys do it because it's a mansion, right? And it's a it's a of course a big house, but the whole setup is so intimate. You're right there. You can feel people. They're next to you. You get me. You can see the speaker right next to you. It's not like you're going to a big convention with 5,000 people. That's a little different. But this way, you're right there with the marketers. You feel part of the team as well.
Yeah. So true, man. Well, what have you learned about yourself throughout this journey, brother?
Yeah. So what I learned is that every time I'm comfortable, I feel like I need to do something else. You get me? Like I just hate being comfortable. Even me doing these interviews, I'm uncomfortable right now. I'm like, oh, I'm like my leg won't stop shaking right now. You get me? Like, like I'm super nervous, but it's like you have to just get out of it. Me doing a podcast. You think I like speaking? Like that. It's just like a different skill that I needed to build in order for me to go to the next level.
Mm.
Even when you invited me to be a speaker on your mastermind, you saw how uncomfortable I was. You get me? Like, but you just have to do it. You have to get out of it. You have to get out of it. And nobody became successful just by staying in the same spot without learning something new.
Yeah.
And that's what I learned about me. You have to just, if you feel uncomfortable, I'm gonna go for it. If there's two pathways, one that is not comfortable and one that is comfortable, I'll probably take the uncomfortable way because it's gonna teach me more about myself than anything else.
Mm. Words of wisdom right there, my friend.
I seen you do that a lot with your hat.
Words of wisdom. I mean, it's you gotta stay. you got to stay uncomfortable. And if you're not uncomfortable, then figure out a way to get yourself uncomfortable. And it's so easy. You move towards things that you're afraid of.
Mhm.
Whether that's going and creating videos, whether that's going and pushing posts, whether that's, I mean, there's people who have videos recorded and have not posted them. I mean, there's people who have things set up and have not launched them. There's people who are hiding, from the world. And it's like, stop hiding from the world, man. Like you deserve success. You are entitled to opportunity just as the next man or woman is. Stop hiding. You can't hide your business and expect people to know about it or for you to be successful. Just becoming known is uncomfortable. The fear of being known, of being seen, is probably one of the most uncomfortable things, and it is where the it is where the success is. It's on the other side of that fear of being known, of being seen by people. It's sort of like, you feel naked, you don't want to, it's like we treat our business like we treat our naked bodies, like, wrap a towel around it. And okay, like that's, you should with your naked body. And I understand that. That's normal, but not with your business, right? You
Mhm.
can't wrap a towel around it and hide and think that anything's going to happen, because it's
Yeah.
not. You have to drop the towel, and you're going to feel naked. You're going to feel naked. You're going to feel exposed, and eventually those feelings of feeling naked and exposed are going to turn into feelings of empowerment and self-esteem and confidence, because you're not going to be afraid of what people think anymore, and stop giving away that power. And you have had an enormous transformation since the beginning. I mean, yes, you were a brand new, uncomfortable, fearful, awkward, inexperienced, just like me and everybody else when we got. And now I feel like I'm talking to a damn marketing expert, to somebody who's not only wise but also knows what the hell they're talking about. And you've become an expert and an authority in this business, and it's amazing, man. How far you've come and where you came from, not only from your original, earlier life coming from Peru and
Mhm.
then California to Texas, and then online, but also where you've come in your business. So congrats on that, brother. And it's been so great to catch up with you today.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate you inviting me over, and it's always nice to talk to you, man.
You as well, my brother. Well, listen, stay legendary, my friend. It's been inspiring, motivating, educational, enlightening, uplifting this morning, and I look forward to catching up here in the near future, real soon. Okay, brother.
Take care, man.
All right, man. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Hey, before I let you go, can you
Yeah.
pronounce your last name just so I don't butcher it? I want to share for anybody who's listening, your handle here for them to reconnect with you.
Yeah, Yermejev.
Okay.
Andrei Yermejev. That's my name.
All right, Andre. And that's spelled. It's spelled uniquely Andrei.
Yep.
That's Andre.
Yes.
And Yermejev.
Yermejev. Yep.
Okay,
Don't worry.
is
I'm used to this. I live. It's my name. I had to spell it out for people so many times.
and that's spelled Yermejev.
Correct.
The
Yep.
man, Andre. We'll talk to you later, brother.
Take care, guys.
See you. All right, my friends, please go follow Andre. Remember, that's his new account. He took a break from the English market for about a year, focused on the Spanish market, closed down his English profiles. He was having a lot of impersonators. So he's relaunched, restarted his profiles there, and it's kind of a unique opportunity to see him like starting over from scratch in the English market, which is kind of cool. So go check him out. My friends, another good one, man. Another great one. I mean, wow. There was some nugs, some big old boulders. I mean, look, I'm just going to do one big, massive hat throw for Andrei and everything that he shared, his journey. It was a pleasure to catch up with him. If you want to get started with our challenge blueprints, come to an event as we talked about, you can go to legendarymarketer.com/enroll. Or if you were sent here by somebody who is an affiliate of Legendary, you can ask them what they think and have them point you in the direction of any of our education as well. I'm going to post this this message about our notification list. We've recently started using Facebook's notification service. It's free. And it's saving us $10,000+ a month on text messaging services. And so that's the reason why we've kind of shied away from our text messages, because we're transferring over to using Facebook service, which once you subscribe, just click on that link that I just put in the comments there. And join that notification list. It'll give you a little message via Messenger every morning at 10 a.m. Eastern time with a link to come over to the show. So make sure that you subscribe to that, and then have your Messenger notifications, at least from us, going off, so you get that notification and that reminder. Also, if you want to join us in the morning, set your alarm for 10 a.m. Eastern time and just come on over to the Facebook page here, and you can tune in. You can also catch these replays on all the major podcast platforms and right here on the page that you just watched that on. Okay, so yeah, go ahead. I'm going to put the link in the comments one more time to get a quick reminder and a link to Wake Up Legendary each morning through Facebook Messenger. You can click that link that I just put inside of the comments. I'll put it independently as well here, just the link itself one more time. So make sure that you subscribe to that list. Go follow Andrei in his journey as well. Dude's a legend for real. What an amazing conversation this morning. And you all get out of here. Have a great day. Be legendary. We'll see you back here tomorrow for another episode. Peace.